Hi, welcome to this special edition of the ESRA short movie. I'm Barry Schouten and I attended ESRA 25 this year in Utrecht. At the conference site, I interviewed 10 attendees. I asked them who they are, why they are at ESRA, what they think is important in survey research and whether there is enough of that at ESRA 25. I also asked them for suggestions for other ESRA podcast short movie. So let's see first who they are. Well, I'm here with Yongqiao Ma, my first interviewee at ESRA. So, Yongqiao, is this your first time at ESRA?
Well, it's my first time at ESRA in person. I was at ESRA online. That was during the pandemic. So it's a great experience to be here in person, meeting with a lot of people. That's totally different experience.
Yeah, the 21 wasn't online because of Corona.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing right now? You're a PhD?
Yeah, I'm a PhD candidate from the University of Michigan, Survey and Data Science. I was a master student at Utrecht University, but also studying survey statistics.
So it's you're a local in a way. You know
That's right.
University quite well. So what was your student project?
So currently I'm working on my dissertation. Currently I'm working on my dissertation, and it is a project about addressing non-response bias, and in a traditional way and in an innovative AI way. So mostly that's about the representation of a survey. There is no measurement side of in my dissertation, but that could be an important next step. So at this moment, I think a more traditional way of addressing non-response bias in my dissertation is to use adaptive survey design. And an AI way is, that's something about using natural language processing to predict response behavior.
Will you present about this at ESRA?
So the first part of my dissertation, the traditional way, I designed a stratification method to stratify the sample, or in general the population, into different subgroups. So like different subgroups may require different data collection strategies, and they are effective in different subgroups. You want to find those subgroups in response to different strategies, and so you can assign strategies effectively to those subgroups. It's like, for example, different survey modes. Some people just prefer web mode over personal interview. So you find that group of people, and you assign the right strategy to them to try to get them respond to your survey questions. So that was the chapter, the presentation I'm going to make on Friday.
Okay. So welcome, Natalie.
Thank you.
Welcome in this interview on ESRA 25, so
Thank
live
you so much for
conference.
inviting me.
Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, so I'm Natalie Shlomo. I'm professor of social statistics at the University of Manchester. Prior to being an academic, I worked for 25 years at a statistics office. So, well-versed in doing many areas of survey statistics and survey methodology. I graduated my PhD in 2007, and then I began working as an academic.
I learned that this is actually your first ESRA.
Yes, it is.
Is there a particular reason that you're now coming and you were not attending previous years?
So as a survey statistician, I generally focused on the survey statistics conferences. However, as president of the International Association of Survey Statistics until 2025 in October, I really was keen to bring the two communities together, the survey statisticians, the survey methodologists. We have a lot to learn from each other. And certainly in the last IDACOSM 2025 IASS satellite conference, I invited some leading survey methods people, Bella Struminskaya and Florian Kish, and they came and gave really nice sessions on modern data collection methods. And so I really think it's important to bring the
you're a bit of
group
a mission,
together.
a mission.
Yeah, I have a mission, and certainly also in my capacity as the president of the International Association of Survey Statisticians. But I came to ESRA particularly because I won this award. So
I know.
yeah.
Well, welcome to this interview with Tobias. So welcome, Tobias. Can you say a few words about yourself, why you're here?
Thank you, Barry, for having me. I'm Tobias Gommer. I'm a head of team family surveys at Gaia, and I'm a survey researcher.
Is this your first ESRA?
No, it is not. I think it's my fourth ESRA, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you going to present, or have you already presented?
I just did my presentation on how respondents use generative AI to answer knowledge questions in surveys.
And how do they do it?
Well, it depends on the question a bit.
Yeah.
So they adapt their search strategies depending on the question, and depending on the search strategies, the AI applications give you different answers. So
Do you think that this could already be like a new mode in a way, that we get AI effects, or is that too early to say?
Maybe it really depends on the adoption rate, how many respondents actually go through the hassle. So I think it's cognitive effort to actually go there and type in the question. So I suppose there's only very motivated respondents doing that, either being motivated in a sense of really reducing the burden, or motivated in a sense to really give very good answers.
So is this for your first, exercise, sort of touching with
Yes.
You put in the water? What is it like?
Yeah, it's more or less an explorative study where we really try to get into that a bit more and understand what are the basics of respondents engaging with this software. Yeah.
So this is the second day of ESRA. I have Alessandra Gaia here for the interview. So welcome.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, my name is Alessandra Gaia. I'm a researcher at the Center for Longitudinal Studies within the UCL Social Research Institute.
And you're a board member too, right?
Yes, I'm a member of the ESRA board and the general secretary.
Okay. So do you still have time to present at ESRA?
Yes, I'm actually presenting two papers. One today, which is about collecting saliva samples into a large-scale cohort study, next steps. It's a UK-based study. And then I'm gonna tomorrow chair two sessions and also present in one of these sessions about the use of targeted incentives and social surveys.
Okay. So are these also your main research areas, or are these projects that you do with a lot of others, or?
Yeah, I'm working on quite a few different areas. I'm working also about non-response, so response maximization. But yeah, and also, use of new technologies in surveys. But definitely, yes, these are areas that I'm quite focusing on. The work on targeted incentives is also part of a project that was founded within the Survey Future program by the Economic and Social Research Council. So I'm also leading that project, and I'm very happy to present that tomorrow.
Yeah, Survey Futures. This is a large program, right? There's Peter Lin, Olga Maslovskaya.
Yeah, that's right. It's a large scale program for looking at the future of surveys in the UK, and also creating a lot of collaborations between academics and survey agencies. Also to kind of work a lot on some evidence that not always is published in academic journals, and so create practitioner guides on how to ensure we can collect high quality data in the future through surveys.
So I have Jonas Klingwoord here with me for an interview. So thanks a lot, Jonas. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's especially a great honor because you won the Best Paper Award yesterday.
Yeah, that came as a surprise. Yeah, completely unexpected, and was really nice. Was a paper together with the former master student that was supervised together with Jupp, a colleague of mine, and me. And
what is your background? Because I immediately dive into the paper award, but
Yes, my background is in social statistics, survey methodology, and survey statistics. I have a PhD in, I could say, field of research methodology, and also recently did my habilitation, which I achieved, and which you could maybe translate into the international system in terms of kind of now having the role of a kind of associate professor. So that's a bit my background.
Well, congratulations on that as well.
Thanks.
So the paper that won the best paper award, is that typical of your research, or is this just one of the projects that you're doing?
It was a kind of sequel from my PhD, kind of an open question that came out of the PhD, and where we thought it may be worth continuing with this. And in terms of if it's typically for my work, given that it was on combining different data sources and trying to apply existing methodology in maybe a kind of innovative manner, I would say that kind of would describe the projects I tried to initiate quite well. Yeah.
Okay, but you have golden hands, I think, because I remember you also won a paper on the Big Surf some years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe longer.
I think that was in 2018.
Right.
So that was actually the start of my PhD. So it was kind of combining different sources and applying capture recapture and to estimate and correct survey measurement error. And the prize that I recently won was still on this topic, but we kind of introduced machine learning algorithms for the estimation part, which, as far as I know, is currently not done in the field of capture recapture, though that mostly relies on the statistical models.
Yeah.
And we analyzed whether you can get better estimates in using machine learning. Yeah.
Right. You're not presenting on this topic, but on other topics. I saw a few papers that you're co-authoring or presenting.
Yes, so I'm not presenting on this. I will today. I'm going to present a meta-analysis where we analyzed all official statistics surveys from Statistics Netherlands from 2018 to 24. That's about 1,300 samples, I think.
Yeah.
And the question is, which survey design features affect and also in which way the response rate. So with the goal of developing a model that you could use if you, say, redesign a survey or start a new survey. And in this model, you choose a certain feature set, and then you can estimate what would be your expected response rate.
Yeah. Well, welcome to this next interview with Bella Struminskaya. I'm very happy that she is here because she's a local organizer. Do you still have time for interviews?
Yes, as you can see.
Right. So, but can you tell
Do
a
we
bit
look at the camera or do we look at each
more?
other?
Whatever you like.
I'll look both ways.
Yeah. Can you say a bit more about yourself? Your background.
Yes. I'm Bella Struminskaya. I'm associate professor at the Department of Methods and Statistics at Utrecht University. And as Barry has said, head of the local organizing committee of ESRA, which has taken place this year at our beautiful Utrecht. I also have other roles. I'm the country team lead of SHARE, the Survey of Health Agent in Retirement in Europe, and the board member there. And also I collaborate a lot with CBS, where Barry is working. Yes.
Well, I've seen a lot of times your names on papers, but I don't think you're presenting yourself.
I am presenting tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, but I saw your name today on a talk by Thijs Carrière on your VD project.
Yes, about so the VD project. VD is the funding scheme of the Dutch Research Council, NWO, and together with Thijs Carrière and other researchers, what we're doing is we are developing an app for the social scientists, but also you can be a health scientist who wants to use an app for data collection. And our focus there is to address privacy concerns of people and also explore how to provide feedback so that people actually like to participate, they stay add the app, do the additional tasks. So I will also be presenting tomorrow on basically research app infrastructure, on how it fits with the research goals, methodological research goals that we are pursuing, but also how we work with an external software company and how we are planning to make it sustainable, because this is one of the one of the pain points of developing apps, as you know, Barry, that you need to make sure they work.
So welcome to this another interview, and this is with ESRA board member Olga Maslovskaya. So welcome, Olga.
Thank you so much.
Good that you're here. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Thank you very much, Barry. I'm very, very happy to be here. So obviously we're currently in Utrecht at the 11th European Survey Research Association Conference. Beautiful place. So I'm Olga Maslovskaya, and I'm an associate professor in survey research and social statistics at the University of Southampton in the UK. And I'm also deputy director for Survey Futures. And Survey Futures is a program where we investigate the future of surveys in the UK. And we would like to ensure that it will still remain possible to collect high quality data in the United Kingdom. Obviously, the context, the environment changes very rapidly and quickly, and we need to adapt and adjust our surveys to ensure that our surveys are fit for the purpose to be used for good quality evidence base for policy making. And obviously, we need to learn about our society and societal changes. So data quality is paramount and very, very important.
The Survey Future, I saw a lot of talks about it or linked to Survey Futures. It's huge, right? There's so many institutions in that program. I think I've never seen that before.
Yeah, Survey Futures, I think it's quite a unique program. So we have 56 colleagues, which are working across 9 universities in the United Kingdom. Also, we have 3 the biggest survey agencies in the UK who are also collaborator. It's NatSan, National Centre for Survey Research, for Social Research, also Ipsos and Varian, and also the Office for National Statistics is our partner as well, and the National Centre for Research Methods. So it's a multi-institutional collaboration, and we ensure that we are collaborating across different stakeholders, and we are addressing very, very diverse range of topics, very, very important topics in survey methodology, and we have 9 different research strands. We are currently, maybe I should mention, we're finishing the 2nd year at the moment, and we have 1 more year to go. So the program will finish at the end of June 2026. And now we're at the point of our program where there is lots of important outputs are coming out. So this is, watch the space for new important publications, and we'll advertise lots of training events as well very soon.
So the institutions that are in Survey Futures, they are market research, government, universities. Are they sort of on the same pace? They have the same sort of view for the horizon where they like to go, or is there sometimes debate about this? How are you doing this?
I think we are all on the same page, because we want to ensure that we can collect very high quality data in the UK. So we're all on the same page, and every research front would have collaborations between different institutions, so not only academics, but also survey agencies and also government organizations such as Office for National Statistics. And we organize various events when we invite various stakeholders, various groups who are interested in seeing that our surveys are in a good shape in the future. So I don't think we have disagreements. I think we all have the same aim at the very end. But it's fantastic to have input and different perspectives put into each individual research project, because I mentioned 9 research strands, but within research strands we have sub-projects as well. So there is a very large list of different very, very interesting and important projects. So have a look at our website, and there is more information.
Well, welcome to this interview. We're on the 3rd day of the ESRA conference in Utrecht, and I have Cordula Artelt. We already had Olga Maslovskaya from Survey Futures. Now Cordula is also running a very big program that is in Germany. So could you briefly say something about yourself and maybe the program?
Yes, I would love to do so. Yes, as you said, I'm I'm a speaker of that program. It's called New Data Spaces for the Social Sciences. And we are heavily working on finding new solutions, new methods, and also improving our particularly panel studies. So evaluate what is good about the old stuff and what we need to do to relate to all the challenges that we are facing. Right. Well, I'm a psychologist by training, and I'm also director of the Leibniz Institute for Educational Trajectories. So we're running big panel studies ourselves, so multi-cohort studies. So we are really, really interested in doing good surveys, and that's our day-to-day business, so to say. Yeah, and this is my motivation also for running the program. The program is funded by the German Research Foundation, and we have about 15 projects altogether working there, and we're a group of 5 people as PIs, so to say, that take care of coherence and offer measures and bringing things together, and this is really powerful, I would think. Right.
Is this your first ESRA conference?
Yes, I'm not really sure if I want to be on film, but it's my first ESRA conference.
Never too late.
It's you can keep it because I'm really impressed. I like this conference a lot. It's I was surprised by the fact that I know so many people. I wasn't aware of that. And I mean, it's not content, in a way it's content, but it's methods, it's practical things, but it's highly relevant. I think it's a great community.
Well, we're on the 3rd day. I've been to quite a few sessions. There will be more tomorrow. And I know that a lot of them, at least quite a few of them, had these new data spaces or something that alluded to it in it. You have a lot of presentations, right, here on the...
Yep, we asked our projects, I mean, they're independent projects, and we said, well, this is a good opportunity, and people from computer science, game, and methods, and I think, I don't know, there are quite a lot of presentations, and tomorrow we have that session, that double session with panel discussion there. Yeah, I'm happy to have them here. Right?
Yeah. So welcome to this interview on the last day of ESRA. We're close to ending up the session, the last session of ESRA. I have Johannes Volk here with me. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, I'm working at the Federal Statistical Office in Germany. And it was the first time for me being here at ESRA. I'm working in a section about instruments for survey instruments, and mainly for testing survey instruments. And in the last years, I was working in a EU-funded project on smartphones.
And is that social surveys exclusively or also business surveys?
We test both. We test social surveys, but also business services surveys. But our main focus is on, we more often test the social surveys,
So what you already presented, because it was last session. So what did you present at ESRA?
I presented my work, which I did within this Smart Survey Implementation Project, which is an EU-funded project. And there we tested receipt scanner. So the idea was to take a picture of your supermarket receipt and get it automatically processed. And that is, we did a pre-test there, and I presented results of this pre-test.
And so it is this pre-testing that was done with persons that have not seen the tool or the app before, so they were sort of outsiders?
Yeah, exactly.
How did you recruit them?
We have our database for within our house, within the Federal Statistical Office, and there we can choose persons. And how do they get in there? It depends. Sometimes we do new recruitment if we need specific persons. Let's say we talk about agriculture, and then we need some persons experienced in agriculture. So we might ask specific persons from that field, and afterwards we ask if we can keep them in our database. So that is how we build our database.
Well, welcome, Laura. Final day of the workshop, of the conference.
Yes.
Final done.
Yes, we just had pizza.
You just had pizza. We are in one of the big rooms where we had the conference. Now it's silent.
No one's left.
So, but it's good to interview one of the organizers and one that was so heavily involved in the ESRA conference itself. But can you say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so My name is Laura Boeschoten. I'm an assistant professor here at the Maths and Statistics Department in Utrecht. So yeah, everyone who in this department is also a regular visitor of ESRA was involved in the local organizing committee. And my research is mainly these days on data donation and the quality of digital traces, potential issues that you can encounter there, and also kind of the development of a research infrastructure around this.
Yeah. I've seen several talks, at least a few talks where you were mentioned, one by Daniel McCool, I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, but you did not present yourself, you didn't?
Yeah, I presented in one session that was more on infrastructures.
So that's an interesting topic, because there are quite a few sessions on this data donation.
Yeah.
Have you seen new things? You know, is the field progressing in your opinion?
I think, well, doing a data donation study is quite a complex process, because first you have to carefully think about kind of the study design. We were in the beginning, of course, developing these tools that even allow you to do data donation studies. So I think in the previous years, also myself, I was showing like, I'm making this tool, it was hardly there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it has been there and people have actually been using it. So now we start to see more and more studies presenting actual results of data donation studies. So that's really fun to see. And it's also interesting because it takes quite a lot of time. After you collected digital trace data, you get huge amounts of data, and researchers, in many cases have no idea what to do with it. Because so much processing needs to be done to turn it into the concepts that you were actually interested in. And you can actually also have many discussions on that. For example, one colleague, Angelica, she was presenting on the topic of constant connectivity during work, and she used Slack data for this. So seeing when you were online on Slack, and how is this different from your official working hours? So just the concept of always being online for your work and responding to messages and these kind of things. But then you have all these access logs, and how do you translate that into meaningful data for the research questions that you're interested in? And just having discussions on these topics, that's what I think is emerging now within this field.
Now that the interviewees have introduced themselves and told us what they are doing at ESRA, I'm very curious to hear what they find important in survey research. Let's hear what they have to say about this. So your main topic is to get people into surveys in a balanced way.
Yes.
Do you think is that the most pressing issue right now in surveys?
Well, it is one of the most pressing issues in surveys, but I'm not really sure if my way can address this issue, because it might not even be addressable, because it's an overall trend that the non-response rate is going up. Not just something we could change by assigning different strategies, because we assume at least they will respond to one strategy. But some people maybe they just they maybe just don't want to respond to your survey. Just throw away your survey invitation, discard your email, and you never know what kind of strategy you should use to approach them.
Yes, yeah. So the keynote that was yesterday was a lot about communication, how we communicate to the general population, how we get them to be interested. Do you think that's part of your research as well? You know, you can identify the subgroups, but then you have to think about what to do. So what treatments, what should I do?
Yes. So like in the keynote, there were many ways presented. I think mostly about different modes, different media of delivering surveys. And I think that if you want to find out who is more likely to respond to a personal interview or a web survey, mobile survey, I think at least you you will need to do an experiment, like randomly assign those modes to your sample, and you have your data afterwards, who's going to respond, who's not, and build a non-response model and make a prediction on those who well, because you can only assign one strategy to a unit in your sample, and once they have received the web survey, well, they won't receive a personal interview again on the same survey. So you're gonna infer whether they're going to respond to your personal interview from, well, the other part of your sample based on the model. So I think that at least you need to test. Well, in the beginning, you cannot just assign strategies based on no evidence. So you need to gather evidence.
Some empirical evidence that.
Yes, to start. Yeah.
So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. What besides non-response or representation do you think are very pressing questions nowadays in survey data collection?
Yeah. So, well, like there are many innovative ways to improve data collection. Like now they are using AI, using chatbot, which is another media of data collection. So we are innovating ways to collect data. There is one important question about measurement. Well, so are those ways of collecting data, if we administer those ways on the same person, will the same person respond in the same way? So that basically means, do we get different responses just because of the strategy difference, mode difference?
So if we have an AI chatbot, would we still give the same answer?
Yes.
Are you still active in certain research areas or?
I'm particularly active recently in non-probability sampling, inference for non-probability samples. And that was because recently I was asked by a group of sociologists in the University of Manchester to work with them on a study of ethnic minority groups on the impact of COVID. And of course, that was clear that we needed to think outside of the box, and we developed an online web panel, and then I was involved in the statistics and the adjustments and everything around that. So, and now recently I'm working with Anna Maria Bianchi on multiple frame surveys. So there's a real initiative now for survey organizations to boost their probability samples using non-probability panels. And so the idea is it's the same questionnaire, same measurement, and the idea is to try to bring these estimates together through a multiple frame.
Yeah, I guess for a long time this was a bit of a taboo area, right? For statistics to go non-probability.
Non-probability.
But I think in my opinion, this is more to find new ways of communication, new ways of reaching out. Is that also the case in these examples, or?
Yes, reaching out. It's clear that there will always be a need for high quality probability-based surveys, because we're going to have to use these sources to check for biases. And so I'm not saying that probability-based survey statistics is not the future. It is definitely the future. But to collect more equitable statistics, hard to survey groups, using more administrative data sources, non-probability or non-survey data sources, we need to focus on the integration of these sources. So I think that's really important.
Is that also where you think the main area is right now, data integration?
Yes, I do.
That's that's where we should focus for the coming.
Well, as a survey statistician, yes, but I think that looking at all the beautiful things that are happening in ESRA in terms of data collection and we all have to come together and think about how we modernize our strategies to collect good survey data.
So is there enough of this on ESRA, or let's say more generally speaking, do you think we're already doing enough of research in these data integration areas?
In data integration, it's coming along. I mean, there's lots of recent work on data integration. And as I said, we just started looking at multiple frame integration. In that capacity is a little different than sort of the standard propensity-based quasi-randomization approaches. But I think that it is the future, and that there is substantive work going on at the moment.
And do you think we will be able to sort of make these things comparable, stable? You know, that's always the issue, of course, comparability. Would that be an important aspect of this?
I think comparability. So I've always been a firm believer, especially having 25 years experience of working in a statistical office, is that you have to have this foundation, this understanding and the foundation, the statistical theory and the foundation behind all of these topics. So there's always this underpinning theory, but it's probably very focused on application-based methods, I would say. You know, different applications would have different methods.
What about, so if we think about, you mentioned AI, will the future ESRAs look very differently, do you think? Where is this going to be dominant in survey research?
I think it will get part of survey research. Will it be dominant? I don't know. So maybe it will get tuned down a bit and be integrated be part of the discussion as web modes are now. So in a couple of years. So I think it will just get the new normal somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is maybe one research question you could ask. If you're looking at the ESRA, we had the keynote by Christian Olsen on communication. You know, different modes, different ways of how we communicate. What according to you, are the most pressing questions right now in survey research?
Well, my answer is not shiny, or maybe not might not be the most popular one, but I think the non-response challenge still is a very huge thing we need to work on, to be honest. Like there's all the new stuff coming in, AI agents for interviewing, actually giving like face-to-face interviews or video interviewing a new revival a bit of sorts. But I think the major big challenge still is non-response error, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you feel that we are losing ground in some, let's say, subpopulations? They're sort of.
Yeah, well, I think many of the large-scale surveys did a shift towards self-administered modes. This is reducing costs. It's increasing response rates, but I feel that there's that we are losing some parts of the population there. Like we have a session on education bias, and we saw that it's increasing when using self-administered modes compared to face-to-face.
But it's a long-standing battle, you know. As far as I've been in survey research for quite a few years, and non-response has always been one of the major issues. You think it's different now from, let's say, 15 years ago? Has Corona done something about this?
We are considering more modes now. So I'm coming from the German context that has always been a bit, in my feeling, cautious about mixing different modes. Other countries were not so cautious. And now finally also in Germany, we are more aware that different modes could be used or should be used. So I think this is simply increasing the complexity of surveys to actually cope with that problem. And we have to keep up with methods for analysis and so on.
Yeah. But targeted incentives, do you mean that you have sort of like a choice incentive? So let's say you're in a survey, you can decide yourself, or is it the other way around, that prior to the survey, you're going to make a decision, well, this kind of person or household maybe more, they would like this incentive more? Yeah.
So in this project on targeted incentives, we also have empirical part where we are running an experiment. We are embedding it in the British Social Attitude Survey.
Yeah.
And we are targeted incentives based on area deprivation. So we are offering higher incentives to people that live in areas that are more deprived, and lower incentives to people who live in areas that are least deprived.
Okay.
And that's because those that live in the most deprived area are typically underrepresented in surveys. And this may lead to bias, which is particularly problematic for research on poverty and social.
Well, you're more or less sort of now talking about non-response, I guess, and participation in surveys. That's definitely an area that's still very important.
Yes, I really feel like there is obviously a lot of attention on this because response rates are going down, but in the last decades, but I really feel that even though there is more attention, we need even more. Like it's really a topic that I would want to because we haven't identified solutions yet. So it's really a topic where I would love to see.
Yeah. I think it's sort of like a challenge that's from several decades. It's on the agenda.
Yeah, definitely.
You feel it's more important now than it was, let's say, 10 years ago?
It's hard to say, but in the last few decades, it has been like critical, and it's going worse and worse in a way. So yeah, probably more now.
So you would probably say that's one of the pressing questions that we should answer. Is that addressed here at ESRA? You're presenting on this, but
yeah, I'm presenting on this, and there are quite a few other presentations on this, and I hope we keep seeing this focus in the future ESRA editions. Definitely.
Are there other research areas? Of course, non-response is probably one of the biggest challenges nowadays. There are other areas that you see, well, they are emerging, or we should pay attention to that?
Yes, so definitely. I think the use of AI in questionnaire design and in other, coding, for example, other areas of survey design, basically. It's an emerging area. There is a lot of attention, but definitely we need to, I think, invest a lot in this field because it's very rare.
Yeah. So do you think it will change the ESRA program in the coming years? We will see more of this?
It will change the world, so it will change also the ESRA program, I think.
It's very likely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my guess.
Yeah. So you would, in the future, try to optimize some of these features, given that you have the budget to do so, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it. But of course, you need the budget. Because I think the most optimal survey design may also come with increased costs.
Yeah. There's no free lunch.
Yeah.
But I noticed you're also working in the area of smart surveys. Actually, I know a lot more about it because we collaborated on this.
Yeah.
But you're not presenting on this, or?
No, I'm only co-authoring a paper from Daniela Remersval is presenting on this. And in that area, I worked a lot on developing algorithms to predict the mode of transport or the reason why people travel.
Okay, so you're quite diverse in the research projects that you're doing. Is this also where you see that currently survey research is going? Sort of, are these according to you, the most pressing questions?
I think with all these emerging technologies, and I think you also see it here at this conference, I think as soon as a technology is developed, people start also thinking about how can we use this technology to improve response rates or to get more accurate estimates, which is really nice. So I think the survey research are really fast in adapting to these methodologies. But of course, for that you kind of need to have a diverse background, or you need researchers in your project from a diverse background to be able to tackle like all these technical challenges that these technologies bring that say maybe classical survey methodologist might not have in his bag.
But you feel there's new expertise needed. Actually, it's more teamwork than so that in this research areas you need sort of more skills, broader skills. Is that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you want, say you want to use, I just coming out of a session where they presented on using LLMs to produce survey answers. You can have this idea, but of course you need also to have the technical skills or someone who's then like programming these bots for you that make these answers. So in that terms, I think you need to have more technical skills. Then maybe, but I may be wrong, but maybe you need more technical skills than maybe 30 years ago, but I might be wrong on this.
No, I think I agree with you that it's becoming more diverse in terms of what you what you need in a team. So are you seeing talks or presentations, projects about this at ESRA?
You mean about LLMs now, or?
Well, there's new emerging technologies, maybe LLMs. There are a few sessions where they come up, I think.
Yeah, so on these LLMs, I saw some, and yeah, of course, there are also sessions, I think, on the quality of sensor data, which then also, I think there's also a presentation on them, for example, smart surveys. And yeah, if you use smartphones to collect your data and say GPS data, the quality of these sensors is quite important if you want to make a statistic out of that. Yeah, so you see definitely sessions and presentation on these new technologies, but still you also see like I think sessions that may have been as at the ESRA conference since ESRA exists, like on how to deal with non-response, how to recruit respondents. So, and I mean, in many of the current papers that you read, you always read like response rates are declining, which is true.
Yeah.
And that may have become even stronger in the last couple of years. So I think especially these topics, and there you may need less technical skills for how to properly say design a questionnaire or an invitation letter to recruit your respondents.
But maybe these new technologies still need to sort of be incorporated in how you design this, you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are already papers out there, like how can you use an LLM like to construct or help you constructing a questionnaire, or so it's maybe not entirely handcrafting a questionnaire anymore, but yeah, like overcoming the blank page. You start with a draft from an LLM, and you start developing that further.
They work.
Yeah. So when can we expect a first proof of concept? What is your plan?
So we are planning the first pilot in the spring, and we'll use the ESM, so experience sampling methods, or EMA, ecological momentary assessment, and also smartphone sensing. So basically, the app usage, how much time people spend on social media, for example, measured objectively. Also in the plans are physical activity and geolocation sensing, but this will be done not in the spring, potentially.
Right. So maybe the next ESRA and 2 years from now, there might actually be some first results.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
But you also worked a lot on, let's say, the perceptions that respondents may have to these kind of data collections.
Yes.
I've seen quite a few papers on this that you've been doing, working on over the last few years. Is that something that you can incorporate in this, or is the project not about recruitment? It's just about providing the tools in a way. It's up to others to think how to use them or not.
Well, it's also, of course, up to us, because if we develop a tool which is not picked up, then there's a problem. So, and what comes out of our projects, for example, the project Smart Survey Implementation, where Barry was also part of, which was sponsored by Eurostat, but we are not presenting the official opinion of Eurostat here, just a disclaimer, is that, for example, people trust the organization which is doing the survey. So they say, well, I trust the university, or I trust Statistics Netherlands, or I trust this particular sponsor. And then they might not necessarily read everything that we are trying to convey to them, right? And also what we find, the response rates vary between the countries, right? Depending on how you organize the recruitment. So interviewers help a lot in persuading people to participate, for example. Then what also I think is interesting to see is that people have certain expectations about how the apps would work because they are using apps in everyday life. And these apps have a particular goal, right? So if you, for example, want them to correct some data, let's say you have a receipt scanning function and the optical character recognition for what is on this shopping receipt. And then if you want the respondent to, correct whether or say, yeah, that's correct or that's incorrect. They actually already expect that it's working. Like, why do you want me to do this? So this kind of additional tasks need additional explanations. So this, I think, is what is important to address. We did a lot of things there. It's like the whole the one work package of methodology had 1,000 pages output, and there were multiple work packages. Yeah, Barry can provide a link to that.
Yeah, a lot of work has been done, but I think the consistent discussion that came up in all the interviews right now is, of course, non-response. It's still a very pressing issue. You know, do you think it's also in this particular setting where you go a little bit different, smart? It's still a key issue there?
Yeah, so I think we have a multi-mode reality, right? So we cannot, at this stage, in Western Europe at least, right, we cannot expect people to stick to, let's say, online surveys or to, face-to-face, also for the cost reasons, or to do only, download an app or data donation. There needs to be a mix now, I think, and that makes it also challenging, but also interesting.
Yeah. You know, the timing of this larger program and the project is not a coincidence, I guess. There are other countries where you see similar initiatives. Is there something special now in Germany where you say, well, there is an urgency for this? It's you're in different times, or?
Yeah, I think the urgency is, I think, not so different to other countries, because we all are confronted with similar problems like declining response rates and not taking advantage of the possibilities that there are with using Gen AI, for example, in an intelligent way, of course, and innovating things. So that it was well received when we made that proposal. And this is why there is Survey Futures and in US and you did smart surveys as well. So we are all trying to find good solutions for our challenges, and I'm pretty sure we can't do it on our own. So it's not only content people and methodologists. We need a range of disciplines. In this.
So when would you be happy for this project? You know, of course, you are more sort of like a moderator, maybe coordinator.
Yeah, we are funded. Yeah, well, I'm also involved, but we are funded as research projects, and so the result is research. But this funding is also infrastructure priority program. So we also want to deliver something that lasts, something that, like tools or white papers or how-to systems and things, or giving advice in pressing issues like data protection and ethics. Those are important topics in using new techniques, for example. So have an impact there that is accessible for others. So open science, open policy as well.
Well, I worked quite a bit in European projects, also with the status in Mannheim University. And you have learned that, as many know, that in Germany, legal is taken very seriously, and that's just very good. You know, it's very legit. We always think if it can run in Germany, then it can also run in other countries. So we look at you, how these things are going. Is that a major aspect of the program, the legal acceptance, or the?
I mean, the one thing is how to deal with people that somehow are arbitrary in their decisions, and sometimes that is the case. One person says it works and the other one says it's not allowed. That's a problem, but that's a human problem, and then too many decision makers. The other thing is that we are touching areas where there's no prêt-à-porter solution. So we don't have these answers to the question of combining all data sets. What does it do to people? What problems are there? I mean, we have examples in the world. So I'm not really sure that everything is hands-on and we say this is the solution and Germany does it, you can do it as well. But to ask the right questions and maybe sensitize people for the issues, also decision makers, that it's not sometimes data protection is hiding some other arguments. So sometimes people just don't want an answer,
Yeah.
and they say
It's an image thing.
It's yeah, maybe you're
Yeah.
right. Mm.
You know, it's quite broad, the projects in the program of people, of course, that listen, I do not know this, but it's quite broad. And but are you still missing certain research areas that you would say, well, for a new round, I would like to see a bit more of this, or
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that this linkage problem was not well received, so that people didn't go in that direction of how we can deal. I mean, that is different in different countries, but it's quite an issue.
you mean data integration, different sources,
different geocoding, and all these things, which has a technical and also different paths, and making use of that. I mean, we could save a lot of time if we could use those kinds of data.
Yeah, it's very clear that you see a lot of talks, very interesting talks, a lot of synthesizing, sort of reviewing kind of talks as well. You know, so you're a co-PI, co-principal investigator in this Survey Futures program, or the
I'm deputy director, and co-investigator as well. Yeah.
Are you doing one particular part as, let's say, more in the research part of Survey Futures?
Yes, so I'm leading also one of the research strands. So it's a research strand where we're investigating methods for surveys without field interviewers. And for example, the day before yesterday, I presented our work on knock-to-notch approach to establishing contacts with respondents. Also, I'm leading a project within another research strand, and we are trying to implement respondent-driven sampling to boost our probability-based online panel. We're specifically focusing on young people. So we're trying to ask young people to recruit other young people they know, because we know that it's unfortunately quite difficult to recruit young people, and they are the future. So it's really important to hear their voices in our surveys. So we are trying to look at different ways how we can succeed with this, because, as I say, they are quite difficult to reach group. But they're very important for all the policy making decisions and for the future. So we need to hear their voices and their attitudes and their opinions. So that's another project. I was presenting it yesterday, and I was also in the panel discussion in memory of Don Tillman yesterday. Sure. So that was my third presentation at the ESRA.
So this young, is that an RDS or respondent driven?
Yes,
you sort of so you get number of seats, young adult seats, and they.
So we selected seats from the probability-based online panel, which is not some panel, and then we asked them to recruit people. So we're recruiting from both groups. So seats are split into two groups. One are young people, and another one those who are 25 plus, and we will see how recruitment would work from the outside of the target group as well. So it's quite an interesting project. It's quite experimental. So, and we are running, this project is run in parallel with very similar projects run in Germany by Karina Kranesse. So, and it's fantastic because they have quite different aims. They have quite different settings, but it's great that timeline is very similar. So we were able to learn something from German project already as well. And so we'll, I think, jointly between two projects. And so I think Karina's project is part of the new data spaces project in Germany, which is also fantastic to collaborate across Survey Futures and other important international infrastructures. And I think we will learn quite a lot. So it's important.
If you have two results, you can maybe start generalizing even to other countries. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, would be very, very interesting. As I say, they have slightly different aims and different approaches. But definitely it will be interesting to bring this all together.
Would you say that this is one of the important research questions to get, for example, young people into our data collections?
I think it's one of the most important. I mean, generally, yesterday at the panel discussion in memory of Don Tillman, I presented our results of the survey practice review. And yes, we're doing a lot of great stuff, but I think you were absolutely right to say at the end, so we are doing many things. But the problem is it's still quite difficult to recruit people, to ask people to participate, especially specific subgroups, and young people are the key. So I believe lots need to be done to investigate, to understand how we can recruit them. Because as some of the colleagues were mentioning, for example, young people, apparently they don't read emails anymore. So we need to look through the channels, how to reach them, how to engage them. And maybe, I don't know, maybe some qualitative work needs to be done with them to understand what is actually going on, how we can, because otherwise our surveys, they are the future of the surveys. And if they're not participating now, how can we ensure that they will actually join at a later
They ever come back?
Exactly. And so what will happen? And surveys are really important. They're here to stay. And we need to ensure that this very, very important subgroup is heard and take part. But lots need to be done. And respondent-driven sampling is one of the approaches. I think we need to explore all sorts of other array of other methods to ensure that we can reach this group. I think it's really important.
So, using an app is very common nowadays. And some kind of tasks in apps are probably very common to most people. But scanning receipts, uploading receipts, or is this relatively unusual, I would say? Or not? Is that what?
Well, scanning receipts might be unusual, but scanning something isn't as unusual anymore. Some persons are used to it because of their assurance, health assurance, when they have to report their receipts.
Is it something that you will continue working on, over the coming years?
Well, not me personally, I guess, but the office, the Statis, will keep on working on that topic for sure.
Okay, because I know budget survey is huge in Germany. It's annual, right? It's every year you do this, or.
Well, the household budget survey, the main survey is done every 5 years, but we have within these years a smaller survey taking place, which is the small household budget survey, and this is every year.
Okay, you said this is your first ESRA?
Yeah.
So what, have you seen new things? Have you learned new things?
Well, yeah, I did. There were so many interesting presentations out there about mainly everything which is concerned to surveys. Yeah.
Did you miss certain areas? I said, well, I'd like to see a bit more of this.
As I'm from this pre-testing, there might have been one presentation more about questionnaire design, but honestly, I as it was now, I could not decide with which session I take, because there were so many sessions also in parallel, and there were so many interesting topics. So if there would have been even more, it would have been even harder for me to decide.
Yeah. So what for you, or maybe for the Statis, are you would say are the important questions for the coming years?
Well, when we talk about surveys which are not mandatory, I think the participation rate is one big thing, which is of course combined with burden. So that is response burden, something we have to work on, to how can we still have a high data quality in a world where persons are less likely to participate in long questionnaires. And that is what we have. We often have long and complex questionnaires, and we have to find a way how to deal with it.
So you mentioned a few sources like TikTok. There are many of those.
Yes.
Is there enough common elements in these sort of sources that you can sort of track that you can do this? Or would you say, well, every new...
I think, well, there, of course, platforms are used in a typical way, and similar types of concepts can be measured from those. So we are now discussing TikTok. Well, the way TikTok is used, and so kind of the things that you could measure from there, kind of exposure, interactions, that's similar on Facebook or Instagram, for example, although the people who use these platforms can be a bit different. Of course, like Facebook is a bit more for the older people, TikTok is for the young people.
Yeah.
But I think the concepts that you could get out of this can be very similar, but the way that the data arrives and that you need to process it in order to get this can be very different per platform.
Yeah. But would it go as far that you would have multi-platform studies where the older you go to Facebook, the younger you go to, well, Instagram?
Yeah, we are now actually indeed considering this for a couple of studies, because indeed, especially if you, well, imagine you're just interested in like political engagement on social media and you want to have measures of this for just a representative sample of your population. Well, going to TikTok, you already know that there's even by selecting that platform, there will already be selectivity.
Yeah, sure. So is that something that you would see as one of the, well, most important questions, understanding the representation, or are there other questions in this type of research that you would say are still a bit open?
I think indeed we now get a sense of kind of the representation, or at least kind of the important mechanisms behind it. But I also have to say that preparing a data donation study is difficult. It takes a lot of preparation, but in the end, it's a bit similar to a survey. If you know that you designed it very well, if you thought about the process very well, your response rates will be higher. And that's something we also see with data donation.
Well, my impression also is that there's a lot of dynamics in all of this. The platforms are not frozen, they change what they do. Is that something? So you there's more, let's say, updating, redesigning than you would normally have in a survey, maybe?
Probably. I think we actually, for about half a year, we monitored this for about 10 major platforms. We monitored weekly, does the structure of the data that you provide change? And we do see some platforms like changing almost weekly, while others being much more stable. So we do have an understanding, and I think it also relates kind of to what the platform is being used for example, social media. They are always coming up with new features, and as a result, they are probably restructuring their databases a little bit based on that, while a messaging app will probably always be a messaging app.
Yeah. So I have to stop here. We did do a lot more talking, but it's just too much to include all of it in this ESRA short movie. I had one last question to the interviewees. What topics do they like to see for ESRA short movies in the future? So let's see what they came up with. They mentioned the following list. Some of the topics are not surprising. They came up in the discussion already, like the use of AI, getting young people into surveys, data donation. Some other topics are definitely important, like teaching survey methodology, survey data analysis, measurement error, communicating survey statistics. And there are also some surprising ones, like drivers and barriers in survey innovation, a history of survey research, and perhaps the most surprising, a data treasure hunt. So let's see if some of these topics can actually make it to future short movie editions. Thanks for watching this short movie. There are of course a few other short movies. You can see them at europeansurveyresearch.org. Thanks for watching.